Hi, I'm Kristin Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Hi, Molly.
Hi, Kristin.
Yay, you're here. The great Molly Price, who plays Susan Sharon, a fan favorite. It's so funny to see you with your hair and then to have watched the episode back. And I was like, oh my God, Molly, you still have the dark hair.
Oh my God, yeah. I realized it when I watched it. I realized I had just done a Woody Allen movie,
Yes.
and Uma Thurman was one of the leads in the film, and I'm complimenting myself right out of the gate, Kristin. Woody was worried that we looked similar,
Wow.
so they had me dye my hair black, which was wild. So when I did Sex and the City, my hair was black. I'm normally like a chestnut, and I go into blondes.
Right.
But when I watched the episode again, I was like, oh my God, my hair was black.
Yeah, it was really
Wild.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love your hair like this. It looks so great.
Oh, thank you. It's that or gray. So I'm going this way until I'm brave enough to be gray.
I mean, me too. But I'm just keeping the dark till I'm brave enough to be gray. But, this is where we're at, right? Okay, so it was really, really fun to look back at this episode because to me, I would have thought that this episode was much later in the series. But as I'm rewatching the show, a lot of the things that I think of as being like kind of like important moments or things that people remember were much earlier in our seasons than I thought. And this episode is one of them. It's called The Awful Truth, I believe. Yes, right?
Yes,
and
it was.
It's written by Darren Star, directed by the great Alan Coulter, who I love so much. And it's
Amen.
such a fantastic episode, and you are so great in it.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I had a blast doing it. It was so much fun.
Did you?
Yeah,
What
I
do
was
you
nervous.
remember? Were you?
Oh my God, I was terrified.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it was such an iconic show. It was the beginning of the second season. And it was, the talk of the town. It was, Sex and the City and The Sopranos were all the rage. And I remember auditioning, and I was so nervous in the audition. And I just thought, well, use it, just ride that, Bill Esper,
Yeah.
I don't know if your audience knows that you and I went to college together.
Absolutely. Yes, let's tell them. Molly and I went to college together, you guys. Can you believe this? And can I just say, it's always so amazing to work with or to get the pleasure of working with someone who trained like we did, because there just aren't that many of us. Like, it was a small school.
It was a really small school, and we were really early on in that evolution. And it didn't last long. What was he there? Bill Esper was there for 10, 15 years?
Right. And now I don't even think they have BFA at all.
No,
Right.
They only have an MFA. So
right. So we were
really
part of a really kind of a magical program that was very hard, but great, where we studied with an amazing teacher named Bill Esper. We were at Rutgers University, but we were a small part of Rutgers called the Mason Gross School of the Arts in beautiful New Brunswick, New Jersey. Which is so crazy to think about. Like, I met Molly probably when I was 19, I want to say.
we were kids.
Little kids trying to act, and here we still are. Yay!
Here we are. Yay! Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill.
Yes, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill in heaven. Okay, yes, thank you for remembering that. It's so crazy to think about. And also, just to make sure we go full circle, Molly also came on too, and Just Like That, which was so great. And so perfect. Yeah, so perfect to have you come to a big event, which we'll get to later. But let's go back in time. So you were very nervous in the audition, and you thought, use it. So you used a little Bill magic.
Yeah, I just remember, working, we were Meisner trained actors, and you work truthfully off the other person. And I was nervous, and I thought, well, this is a woman who would be nervous, right? She's in an abusive marriage, and she's afraid of her husband. And how would she be in these scenes? And, she had left her husband in the episode and moved in with Carrie. And so I thought, just use it. And I did. And I just remember them laughing like out loud in the audition. And I'm thinking, okay, this is going well.
Yeah.
But just if I can flash back even prior to the audition, like 2 years before my audition, I remember getting a call from my agent, and he said, there's this audition for this HBO, and HBO kind of didn't even really exist. You're always like, what? What? HB Studios? And they said it's an audition for a show called Sex and the City. I'm like, I'm a recovering Catholic. So as soon as I heard the word sex, I was like, oh, shite. I'm not, taking my clothes. I'm not going to have sex on camera. And then he said, and the audition's in Queens. And I was like, where? Because I was, a very stuck up Manhattanite. And I was like, Queens? And he was like, yeah. And can I tell you this? I did not even go on the audition because I was so verklempt that I had to go to Queens to audition for it. There was at Silver Cup Studios.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to Queens to audition for
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
How about that.
I mean, I do think it's one of those things though that I can fully understand, because I remember the anxiety that we all had about the sexuality, sexual part of it. And even, not being a recovering Catholic, I still was super nervous about, my mother seeing it and my grandmother seeing it. And we had a lot of nerves about what we were talking about, but also what were they going to show? Because there really was no precedent for our show. There was nothing to compare it to. And the comedic part was not really necessarily clear and kind of confusing, right? Until everyone saw it,
Yes.
But I do remember, and I mean, I'm sorry that you didn't audition because you would have been amazing, but I get it because I remember I think because I knew Darren, I was able to talk to him about it, and he talked to me about Candace, and I was able to look her up and have a little bit more kind of context of what he wanted to do. And I knew that he wanted it to be funny, though Darren really didn't have a track record of writing comedy. So he was so smart that he brought in Michael Patrick pretty soon, who, was sitcom and stand-up and all of those things. And I think that's what made it work back then. But I do also remember everyone being outraged, women talking about sex. Oh my God.
Yeah. It sounded like, it was like soft porn.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
It is interesting too, to think back in terms of, I also remember, I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but when I had Cynthia on, we talked about going to our first fittings on Long Island City in Queens, where Silver Cup was, and both of us getting lost. I ended up in tears. She's, hardcore New Yorker, so the fact she got lost. And because they used to expect us to just take the train to work in the beginning, before we had a whole little fit about it.
Yes.
Because we were like, where are we?
Where are we? Because we only lived in Manhattan, even when everybody moved out to Brooklyn, 15, 20 years ago, I was like, where? What? Why?
Definitely. Right.
Yeah, clearly, I clearly missed a lot of calls. Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of milestones.
But I get it. I also remember myself when we got out of college, when I moved. First, I still lived in New Brunswick for a while. Then I moved to Hoboken. So you'd have to take the PATH train, and you'd have to get back before the last PATH train. And I remember when I was auditioning, the auditions would just be everywhere, uptown on the East River, downtown. I did not know where the heck I was half the time, Yeah.
And I remember that's when there was still phone booths.
Which is in the show. It's so cute.
I remember I lived in Hoboken too. I lived on 9th and Garden.
Wow.
And I remember, you'd have to take a change of clothes. And I'm
trying
to find bathrooms in New York City to change my clothes, to play a hooker, to play a lawyer, to play a mother. And I'd have my bag,
Definitely.
in some crazy
the good old
Greek
days.
Coffee shop. The good old days. When we had keepers.
Totally. It made us tough. It made us very tough, I think,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to get back to this part because I had remembered Susan Sharon, obviously, as being great. But when I watch you back, I mean, I think so many great things. I think that number one, and why I love to hear your audition story, is that it's hard to make this funny. You're in an abusive relationship, right? And you make it funny. It's kind of impressive.
Well, again, I think I said I'm a recovering Catholic.
Got it. It connects.
Yes, I understand comedy and abuse. Yes.
Oh my God, I'm glad you said that and I didn't. But it's really good. And it's also, I'm curious I'm going to be specific in a minute about the episode, but when I watch this, one of the things I love about rewatching the show is to think about what is similar now and what's different now about relationships, about the way women talk, about our thoughts and feelings about relationship things. And your husband in this show, the character, is so awful.
Yeah.
And now we would be calling the police. We would be scared. But we make jokes and Carrie's like, maybe that's just their foreplay. It's crazy, isn't it? Did you think that?
I mean, it's not untrue, I guess, is what I would say. I mean, there is some sort of codependency involved in those relationships. I mean, you only know what you know, right? And if you grow up in a household where people yell at each other and are verbally abusive to each other, it becomes normalized. And unless you do work on yourself and you're like, oh, that's not really healthy, and I want to change that, you live out your life the same way that you watched other people live out their lives. So, I mean, he was terrible, but at the same time, I will not remember that actor's name. He was funny, and they cast it in a way that it could be comedic because he was much shorter than I was.
Right.
And so that made it funny.
Right.
And at
Good
the
point.
end, maybe the dog is what brings them back together. Maybe they just,
that was cute.
We're missing something.
Right. I think, is it Neil Jones as Richard? Is Richard your husband? I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So Neil Jones, I thought he did a fantastic job.
He was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he really goes for it. And I think that's also partly why it is funny, is that it's not like subtle exactly. It's like really leaning into that,
But he was his presence was comedic.
It's true,
and the
for
fact
sure.
that he was shorter than me made it digestible.
Yeah, you're not so scared for Susan
if
Sharon.
he was a big looming presence, you might be like, yikes. But I was, 3 inches taller than him. So I think in the casting, that was very insightful of them to allow the audience to relax into it and not get their shoulders up,
Definitely. I did have my shoulders up watching it though, but I knew it was going to end fine. But it is just those funny moments, like earlier in the first season, we have the Gabriel Macht characters filming himself having sex with models and not telling them, and then talking about how he's going to, make an art project out of it. Like those moments where you're just like, in the 90s, I don't think that we really had the, wherewithal to be like, call the police,
No.
We just put up with it kind of.
Yeah, it's the way it was.
It is the way it was. Okay, so we see you and Carrie. This is at the beginning. So Carrie she's writing about you from the top of the show, which I love. I love that you're such a strong presence throughout the whole plot of this episode. Like, this episode does an incredible job of storytelling because everyone has a great plot. And then we also have you, and it's very full circle and present, which I love. And I think is to Michael Patrick's credit that he was able to get all that in so quickly.
Yes.
So she's writing about you. She says that she sees you twice a year. And then we meet you out in the world and you're telling a very funny story about how you fall asleep on a plane and you wake up because you are into Kashmir and you fly to Italy, and you tell a very funny story about a flight attendant trying to wake you up, but the plane had already landed, and it's pretty funny.
I think I was drinking on the plane and I took Halcyon.
Oh my God, yes, Halcyon, which I'm just like, wow.
So, a little bit of a
Halcyon. Yeah. If I were married to that guy, I would need to take Halcyon. Then you take her back to the apartment. You give her this adorable birthday gift, and you guys make some very funny jokes about Kashmir. And we talk about Barney's, which is so sweet. And I know. And you say that this Kashmir would cost $900 at Barney's. And then she asked if she could trade it in because she could really use $900. You're like, sure, which is so nice of you.
$900.
Exactly. And you talk about the Cash Miracle.
It's a cash miracle. That's why they call it a cash miracle.
Exactly. I love it so much. But then your husband comes home. No, he wakes up.
No, he's sleeping.
Yes. Oh, God.
He's on London time.
Right.
That's what he says.
Right.
He wakes up. He says, I'm on London time.
And then he shouts at Carrie, which is kind of scary.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
But she doesn't seem, she's just kind of like, okay.
No, she handles it beautifully. She passes him and says, good night, grumpy, or something like that. And
I know.
That's what triggers him to say, get the fuck out. So he's abusive to her too. So
Right. And then later on she goes, maybe it wasn't the best choice to go the meanie or whatever, something crazy. And I'm like, yeah, maybe not, Carrie. Get out, run. Carrie goes home, and then Carrie's musing in her way in her voiceover about maybe that's your foreplay, which I'm just like, oh, Lord, have mercy. Let's hope not. But then you call and you're so sad and embarrassed, which is sweet. And I felt really bad for you. And then you're kind of venting along, and then you ask Carrie if you should leave your husband.
Yeah.
Which is that scary moment.
And I loved her response. She says, if you're not happy, life is too short, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And then she also says, not if things aren't going to change.
That's true. It's good advice.
It was great advice. And she took it for a few days.
Exactly. And that's the scary part. Then, so the topic of the episode is offering relationship advice to friends, which is always very delicate for sure. What do you think?
I guess it depends on how conscious your friends are, if your friends are somebody that, and if it's not going to put the person in danger. But I guess, for me, I'd rather someone be honest with me than be careful.
I think that's great. That's really great. I mean, I think also it's going to be relating to, how far back does your friendship go? What are the kind of parameters of that friendship? Because the thing that's a little unclear, like at the beginning of the episode, we say very clearly that Carrie sees you twice a year, right? But yet you seem to have kind of a very intense friendship, which is nice. And you ask her, should I leave my husband? What do you think, Carrie? And maybe you ask her this because she's a sex columnist, but it is interesting because it's a delicate thing. And then so cut to all of us at the coffee shop discussing whether one should give relationship advice. And I think it's Samantha who's like, no, now you're going to be blamed, which I think she says that basically, which is kind of funny. And then Charlotte says that you should be able to say anything in a relationship, but wait, that's with your partner. That's not, I don't know. And then Samantha disagrees and says that because she's still with this man who has small, what, and she's all unhappy about it. And I have to say, I'm just amazed that she's still with him. Like, I did not remember that this storyline went for multiple episodes and across 2 seasons. It's kind of amazing that Samantha.
Really? What was he called? Egg roll man or spring roll man?
He's like the gherkin. I don't know. I think there's a lot of weird food names we have for him. It's a little crazy. I mean, she got out a little hot dog when we went to the baseball game, and she's just doing all kind of things.
Oh no!
And she goes to therapy with them in this episode. It's very interesting. I had not remembered all this, and good for her that she really tries. Good for Samantha, because obviously it's a big sacrifice on her part.
Or a little sacrifice.
Or a little. Good one, Molly. Good one, Molly. Oh, then Miranda's dating the spring roll guy. Yes. Which is also.
That's the spring roll guy.
Yes, he's the spring roll guy, but I don't know why he's the spring roll guy.
Because she met him out in front of her office at the food truck.
Oh, thank you, Molly. Paid more attention than I did. Good for you. I mean, and this is Neil Pepe who plays this part, and he's so great.
Yes.
And I had forgotten how involved this is. And I think this is one of the first times, I'm not sure, but I think it's one of the first times where, so she tells us at the table, oh, I'm, spring roll guy, and Carrie seems to know about him, but we don't. And so we flash back. And we do this a lot as the seasons go on and the episodes go on, because sometimes you can't show the whole relationship, you know what I'm saying? So you flash back to catch up.
Right.
And, these flashbacks of the sex we do this a lot going forward, and it's a good way to get it all in there. So she just to catch us all up, I guess, we have a flashback to the scene where they're first having sex, and he's talking dirty, but she's not, right? She can't do it back.
Right. He wants her to talk dirty, and she can listen to dirty talk, but she can't participate. And then Then she
and he's
hooks
kind
in.
of demanding. He's like, you do it. How do you feel? What do you want? No.
Yeah.
Right. He's pretty relentless, but funny also. And then she says to us, because sex is not a time to chat, which is cute. And then I have this really crazy thing that I do. And
you were great. You were a good dirty talker. Yeah, you got right in there.
I know I got right in there, but I did it in such a weird Charlotte way,
Yeah. Like you were right into it.
I know. It's a very funny thing about Charlotte where everyone's like, oh, she's the prude, she's the prude, she's the prude.
No,
but then I'll just
you got right down on it, and you were like, sometimes men just, need a little encouragement.
I know. And she's not wrong, but it is pretty funny to hear her saying these things. But, at least she helps Miranda out because it comes in useful later on. All right. So then we go back to Carrie, and she's writing, and she says, was Miranda right? Have we put such a premium on being open and honest with one another that we've misplaced the boundaries of propriety? Are there still certain things in a relationship one should never say? And I do feel like this is also Michael Patrick and Darren wrote this one.
Yeah, Darren.
Both of them, I think, have included criticisms from critics for the first season into the writing. So the first episode is when Miranda gets up and says, like, all we ever talk about is men and sex. I'm leaving so we could talk about something different, which was a big criticism of the show in the beginning, right? Okay. Like, why are all these women just sitting around talking about men all the time? And then in this episode, are there boundaries? Because people, I remember in the beginning, people said, oh, this isn't how women talk, which I don't think is true. I do think women talk about these things together. I don't know if they use all the same words that we use in the show, you know?
Right. Well, we're not doing a documentary, we're doing a comedy.
Definitely. But you know how critics are, right? They don't care. They're going to find something.
They're all failed actors. Oh, did I say that? Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. It's okay. But I think it's really funny to see, because I had kind of forgotten these moments where I think that they're kind of putting in like the things that people wanted to throw stones at us about. Like, we're just going to use it, which is smart. And so now we get the montage of regular people, which we still have, which I didn't really realize continued this long into the second season. And so different people are complaining about their friends and their partners, which is kind of funny. Topic: intimacy and its different meanings in a relationship. What does intimacy mean in a relationship? Is it more physical or emotional intimacy? Interesting questions here. Then, this is when it gets all complicated with you and Carrie. So we're at the market. You guys are walking around. You're eating a lot, which is interesting.
Yeah, we were at ABC Carpet and Home.
I love
That's where
ABC
we filmed
Carpet.
that scene.
Oh, that's great.
I know.
So many years ago.
I mean, what was that, 1999?
Yeah.
And it was the original ABC Carpet when, now it's a modified version.
Yeah.
And they had a candy section.
Wow.
And they were like, just go around and pick up candy and eat as much as you can. And I was like, oh, because, it's hard to eat and be funny and not look like, an animal. So that was very tricky. Great. Take after take with my mouth full of like chocolate covered pretzels and like, sugar dipped fruit. I was like,
it worked.
It was hilarious and fun to do. Yeah.
That's great. I love that. I do think people have asked me, like, are you guys really eating? I'm like, yeah, obviously we're really eating.
Yeah, I was really eating. And that's
we've got lines. Like we can't stop and not really eat. And I think also they were very into us really eating. Like, they were always like at the coffee shop, if you didn't take a bite, they'd be like, take a bite. Why aren't you taking a bite? You're like, 'cause I'm trying to talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does make it so much more real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think you're really funny here because you're just like on a rant kind of, but you're also stuffing your face and walking through the store, which is very challenging as an actor, I have to say. You're really good. And you're basically telling Carrie that you have, in fact, left your husband and that he says this horrible thing to you, that he pities you, your character, Susan Sharon, because in a year he'll be remarried and you'll be single the rest of your life. And then Carrie's voiceover says, yes, I didn't want to tell her that this is true. Oh,
yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And then you say you thank her for her advice and you tell her that you feel free.
And then I ask her to sleep over.
Yes. And she's like, okay. And then like, it's so funny. It's so funny when you're over there. It says, we know that apartment is not that big, but it's kind of adorable. Okay. Now I think this is, Charlotte's apartment. This is when you see Henry the dog. This is so cute. This is my hallway, which I would remember being so excited to get because in the beginning I just had 2 flats that they would like move around for whichever way they needed to shoot the camera in my bedroom. So now I have a hallway. I can walk down the hallway. I can look in the mirror. I'm like, I feel like
things are looking up. Yeah,
exactly. Things are looking up for Charlotte. Yep. She walks in and we see her dog Henry. You think she's got a new man, but in fact she has a little Jack Russell or Rat Terrier. I don't know. Not a good dog breed choice for Charlotte. But she's going to make it work, right? And I remember that dog. That dog was adorable. And we had the sweetest dog trainers back then. And I have like such early like flirtations with Charlotte and dogs, which obviously came to be a very, very prevalent part of Charlotte's character. But I love dogs. So I was always really into it. So this dog, Henry, is there. And until Charlotte finds the perfect man, she's going to have the perfect dog, which is cute. Then we have to go back to Samantha with this poor guy, James. And I just feel so bad for that actor. Ooh, I wonder what happened to him. We should look him up.
Yeah.
He's very cute. Yeah. But so James confronts Samantha about the fact that they haven't had sex, I believe in like a month or something like this, though they're still together. And she says she's tired and she doesn't want to have sex, which of course the whole entire audience knows is not true at all.
Right. She was trying to be nice until she couldn't be anymore.
Exactly.
And the therapist agreed with her.
I know, which was really funny. And I remember her so well. There are moments that I don't remember at all. And there are moments that I remember like they were yesterday. And that therapist she was such a great actress. She was great. Hilarious. So then we check in with Samantha. This is when also from just a structure perspective, this episode is the first episode where I really feel like all the plots are working really well independently and also together, right? Like everyone has a great plot, but they're all kind of braided together and we bop to apartments, which is what we continue to do. But this is the first time I really feel like it's working well. So we go to Samantha's apartment. She's still trying with James. We go to Miranda's apartment. This dirty talk situation continues. It's really adorable. Yeah, it gets better. Miranda tries, and then he gets really turned on, and then she like leans into it real hard. And she seems, when I look at Cynthia in these scenes, I think, and I have to ask her, that she had done a play in between first and second season where she had to wear a wig. And so she buzzed her hair really short because it made the wig easier. And I went to see the play and I was like, Cynthia, where's your hair? She was like, I buzzed it, Cynthia. And I was like, but they might have some feelings about that, at work when we go back. And she was like,
she didn't care.
She didn't care. She didn't even enter her mind. So her hair is like this long and it's kind of
Joan
sticking.
of Arc. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like quite
punk rock.
Yeah, it wants to be punk rock. And you can tell they're trying to make it almost in a weird 80s, but it's really just sticking straight up. It makes me laugh so hard. But I also feel like she seems so innocent in certain ways. Like when they're in those big close-ups of her face, when she's trying to talk dirty, she looks so young.
It's so brave. It was so brave.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
She's a fearless actress.
She is a fearless actress. And it's so funny. And it's also like, if you think about where we were in time, it's fucking great.
Well, she was so endearing because she was authentically freeing herself. Because one of the lines in that scene is, she says, cock, 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 cock. And she starts laughing and she goes, oh, that's so fun to say. Why couldn't I say that before? And it's very sweet and innocent and very endearing. Because she just breaks the spell. It's just a word. Yeah. Right? It's how you want to use it.
Yeah. She's just so great. She's so great in those scenes. So great. So then we cut to my apartment and you guys have come over.
Yes.
Which is adorable.
Meet Henry.
Yes. And it's such a cute shot from a funny angle, like from the dog's POV of us sitting on the bed. And I'm trying to make him do tricks and he's not doing the tricks. And you guys look very displeased with me.
I did not want to be there. No. Susan Sharon wanted to get home.
Definitely. She wants to get home.
Her codependent husband to call.
That's right, which is kind of sad. This is a little sad moment for Susan Sharon. And it's also funny because the phone, right? Like you have to get back by the landline for him to call.
No cell phone. Yeah.
No cell phone, people. Oh my gosh. So even though you've left and you felt free, now you're really wanting him to call, which I think is kind of sad, but also very real,
Yes, very real.
And you're kind of slightly defending him, which is also, it seems like Carrie doesn't really know what she should say or shouldn't say. You know what I mean?
You were the tough one in that scene. Because I asked the dog, I'm like, Henry, what do you think? And then the dog goes to bite me. And then you pull the dog back and you say, he's a dog, not an oracle.
Which is a good one. That's a good one. I like it. So then we go back to Carrie's and you are like in a weird passed out position, which is really funny. When the flowers come, do you remember?
Yeah, they had me lay upside down on the chaise.
Yeah, because there's nowhere to sleep.
And I was snoring. They were like, snore. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, snore. So I was
fantastic.
Like, yeah.
I love it. So someone's at the door, which I also think is funny. There were people in watching And Just Like That who criticized a time when a character comes up to Carrie's door and buzzes the buzzer because, like in New York, you have the buzzer down on the street to let someone
Oh,
up.
that's true.
And sometimes we don't do that, but I think we don't do that for time.
Right. So somebody in the apartment let him in.
Right. Because he's still buzzing. It's not like she just opens the door, which would not be very New York at all. Right. But who has the time, to buzz and then wait and then,
Nobody.
Yeah,
We're
it's
in
a
New
lot.
York. We have to move it along.
Right. There's a delivery person coming to Carrie's apartment. We are now at Carrie's birthday. So when we start the episode, you're giving her an early birthday gift, the cashmere sweater. And now it is actually Carrie's birthday. And she's getting a delivery of very glamorous red roses. And the card says, "Best wishes on your birthday." And somehow she knows that this is from Big, which is kind of entertaining to me. And cut to the coffee shop. This scene, I remember like it was yesterday. Charlotte talks about the grand gesture, that this is a grand gesture after the breakup, right? And this is
very
real,
romantic.
Very romantic, very Charlotte, and I think very true to life.
Yes. He's trying.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's look at the positive. He's trying. And then Miranda and Samantha do not think that this is the grand gesture. And I kind of get their point as well. Like if it was a grand gesture, you should have written more on that card.
Well, Samantha says she should have given her jewelry. That's what counts as the grand gesture.
Right. I don't know that I agree with that because I always feel like
diamonds are not a girl's best friend.
Well, it can be like bribery or whatever, like a weird, do you know what I mean?
Sure. But I'd rather get bribed with jewelry than roses.
Would you? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I always feel like if jewelry is being given in a I'm sorry type situation, I don't know. I'm like, nah, I don't want to be bought. I don't know.
You can pull a Carrie and trade it in for the cash.
Exactly. I would rather like an emotional, like the way if someone were wanting to apologize to me, I would want like a card that had some emotion in it. That would
let me know when you get that. Let me know that happen.
I will, Molly. I will. You're right.
Posted. Okay.
It's a big ask. You're absolutely right. So, Charlotte, I have Henry with me at the coffee shop, which I also remember this was a little challenging because the coffee shop's always a very, very long day. And I remember having the dog and trying to shoot the dog out. You know what I mean? And at one point, Charlotte leaves early, which was to get me and the dog out, I think. And the dog is now trying theoretically to chew on purses because I tell them that he's already chewed on shoes, which is, of course, the beginning of the end of my relationship with this dog, that he's chewing on my shoes.
We have to have a line in the sand.
Totally. So we're at the coffee shop. I get up and I say that he's misbehaving, and I go. And then we're at Carrie's, and Carrie's wondering again. She does a lot of thinking in this episode. If Charlotte is right, was he saying I was wrong with the gesture? Now, I mean, really, Charlotte is giving Big a lot of credit that he was saying I was wrong, because I don't really think that's what he's saying.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, I agree. So then Carrie calls Big. Oh yeah, this was big mistake.
To say
big
thank
mistake.
You.
Yeah, big mistake. Because once you let him back in, you don't know what he's gonna say. And so she calls him. I mean, I get it. She's being polite. She's calling him to thank him for the flowers. And of
Not
course,
really.
She's calling him to open that door back up, right?
Absolutely. More than the door. Yes.
More than the door. I know what you're saying. So then, of course, he says, oh, what are you doing for your big day? And she says, oh, we're having a party at Layla. I believe, is it Layla? Yes, the Moroccan restaurant. And she goes, you should come. And then she's like,
Right, yeah.
I know. And then he says, oh, I might have to bring someone, which really seems horrible. Like it's going to be a girl. And I literally had the thought, like, is he going to bring Bridget? Like, is the future Mrs. Big already in the picture? But thank God, no, I was wrong.
No.
I was like, when does this all happen? Because I don't really remember all the details, So we're left with Carrie having invited Big to her birthday, and he's theoretically going to bring a date, which is about the worst scenario possible. Then we have to go to the therapist office with Samantha. I mean, I was like, this poor Samantha. The least place she would probably ever want to be.
She did not like therapy.
No. I mean, you can imagine that she wouldn't like therapy.
No, she liked a one-night stand.
Totally. Or just generally good sex, right? Like in whatever form.
Who doesn't?
Totally. Good sex is good and very important. I'm looking for this. Oh, it's Marilyn's So-Call. She's Dr. Velma. She's
She
really
was
good.
amazing. See into me, right?
Yes.
Into me, see. That was the name of her
Very
book.
good, very good.
Into
Yeah.
me, see.
She's really nice too. Really, really nice. And I almost feel like she comes back at some point, but maybe she just came to the parties and we hung out with her. I don't know, but she's really nice and she was great. So they're at the therapist's office, and poor Samantha, all she wants to say is that this person's, member is too small, but she has to say everything but. So they're talking around why they're not having sex, and the therapist
Then
is
she
trying.
says it.
Then she just can't hold it back anymore. When they talk about coming back to therapy, that's
Yes.
too much.
She says, I'll see you same time next week. And then that's it.
Yeah, they push Samantha too far. She can't hold
Absolutely.
her mouth anymore. And
No.
she says that it's just too small for her. And he, of course, is very mortified. Yes, good word. And he leaves. And then the therapist is like, I feel you, basically.
I hear that.
I hear that. Very good. Good memory. And I'm relieved. I'm frankly relieved that this poor man is like freed from this situation. And that
I think Samantha was too. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was a win-win.
100%. I can't even really believe that she hung in there that long. Oh, now we go back to Neil Pepe. And I just love these scenes so much. So now Moran is just like talking and talking and talking. And then they're at post-coital, and he says, what do I like? He's like, what do you like? And what do I like? And, it's kind of hot. And she's talking about all the different things. And then I don't even know if I'm going to be able to repeat this, but she basically says something that she thinks he likes, and that is not okay to say out loud. So he gets weirded out.
There you go.
And man, was the writing brave.
Incredibly. That was a shocker.
Definitely. And I remember at the time being like, oh, like, what are we doing?
And then we say it again at the dinner table. We talk about it at the dinner table.
I know, very freely.
Very freely.
Interesting also.
Who knew? That was the one thing you couldn't say.
Exactly. I love it. And I love this whole the dinner. And I remember these dancers. I remember the Moroccan restaurant.
They were beautiful.
Do you remember?
Yeah. Beautiful. Very sexy.
And so game, because they were like, get right up next to Chris, do this, do that. And he's putting the money in there, whatever.
And it was so hard for him. Do you remember? He was really suffering.
Yeah.
That was very difficult for Chris. He was really upset about it. Remember that? He had to have like a timeout.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was very sad. Like, he was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this, having these beautiful women belly dancing in front of me. And we were like, come on, Chris, you could do it.
And Willie is here. Willie is here with us, which is so nice.
Willie.
I know. Willie looking so young and beautiful.
Just a beautiful man, beautiful actor.
Such a beautiful man, beautiful actor, beautiful human being.
Yes.
And when we go back in time and look at him, it gets me every time.
Sorry.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, this is the beauty that we live on film, right?
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like 100 years ago sometimes, and then sometimes not. Like, I remember those girls like it was yesterday. And I remember we were there for quite some time doing this scene.
That was a long day.
Yeah, probably into the night.
Yes, a lot of baba ganoush, hummus.
Oh, and you're by Mr. What do we call him? He's so mad. Is he Mr.
He was
Marvelous?
so mean to me. He was so mean to me.
Oh my God.
But that got me turned on. That was like my dirty talk. Susan Sharon, she was just like, what did you say? Up? Could you say that again louder?
I know. I was really nervous. Watching that you were going to like.
It made me want to go home and be with my husband.
I was glad that you chose your husband over Mr. Marvelous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because to me, Mr. Marvelous, because every time we see him, I think this is the second or third time we see him, he's like, I just left some bitch. At least I didn't have to give her my money. This is like all he ever says. He's so toxic. But I mean, your husband is also scary. But we're already missing him. We know you're already missing him. So I mean, I had a lot of feelings watching that. Okay. I talk about Harry, my dog, Henry, not Harry. We're not to Harry yet. Where Henry is a big love bug, which is kind of adorable. Doesn't pan out. But then, thank God, Big shows up and he does not have a woman with him. He has Mr. Marvelous with him. Toxic man. But Carrie's so happy that it's not a woman that she like hugs him. And you can see Big's face is like, wow, I didn't think she liked Mr. Marvelous. And I don't think she does, but she's happy that he's not a date. And then you're there and you're talking to Mr. Marvelous, and he tells her, do you ever just shut the fuck up? Which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where you're like, wow, I really miss my husband.
I really miss my husband. Yeah.
But I am glad that it comes full circle, and that the dog that I go home to find has been a very messy and bad boy.
Yeah,
and
he
has
pooped in your hallway, and he chewed up your bed, and that
you know
was
that's
it.
not okay. That is not okay. But I'm really happy that he finds a good home with you and the husband.
Sure, all three of us can be dysfunctional together.
Definitely. And he seems like the child you guys needed.
There you go. Everybody gets what they need.
Exactly.
Happy endings all around.
Right. They say the Carrie voiceover says that the dog Henry is the glue that brings you and your husband back together.
There you go.
And you guys look pretty happy on that couch.
We did. We had a fun time shooting that scene. Yeah.
I'm glad.
It was a fun day.
I'm so glad. And then we're back on the New York street and at the end of that night. And Carrie's walking with Big. And I was very impressed with Carrie in the scene, because Carrie previously has not had a lot of cover with Big, right? But she lets him get in the cab and go, even though he looks back at her, and I'm sure he's hoping that she's not going to let him get in the cab.
Yeah, because he offers her a ride home.
Right.
And she says, no, I'll catch a cab.
Right. And then he tries to give her cab fare, which is a little weird.
Really weird.
Right.
And she says no.
Thank God. She's not a child. You know what I mean?
No, she's got it.
Yeah, she's got it. Thank God. And then he goes to get in his old town car, which is so charming, and looks back at her, and she just lets him go. So I was very proud of Carrie there. I thought that was really good.
That was a beautiful ending too, because the camera, it was like a crane shot, and it lifted way up into the sky, and you just see her like really small in her red dress making her way through Manhattan, and it was very inspiring and heartbreaking at the same time, because you wanted them to be together, but you were so proud of her that she didn't get sucked in.
Definitely. Most definitely. And it's also, I love anything where in the olden days when we would film the streets, because they look so different. Days. I mean, doesn't it look different? Doesn't it look different to you, Molly?
New York I don't even know New York anymore.
Right?
When I go back, it's a totally different city. I mean, it was so gritty and sexy and fun and spirited, and all the artists have left.
I know.
They all got priced out by banks and CVS. It's like, it's a totally different city, because all the artists moved to Brooklyn.
That's true. Yes, that is true. That is true.
So when you go to Brooklyn, it feels like old New York to me.
Definitely. Most definitely.
Like I lived in Chelsea for like 35 years, and like the meatpacking district was actually the meatpacking district. Like it was full of rats and racks of beef. Like that's what I remember. People like, want to go dancing in the meatpacking district? I was like, what?
I know. Dancing and shopping.
No.
It's crazy. It's
when
so
I was
crazy.
there, it was rats and, sides
and
of
you could
cows.
smell the meat.
You could smell the meat.
Yeah, I remember
Crazy.
too.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
Days.
I know. That's why I love when we do get a nice wide shot of the streets. It's so evocative. Like you could remember what it was like back then and how empty. It looks really empty,
Yeah. Well, because they probably shot it at, 4 a.m.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Because there would have been 20 million people had they not. So you guys, it's been so much fun talking to Molly Price. And I really wanted to talk to her a little bit about coming on to And Just Like That. So we're going to have another episode where we talk about all the things that went on when Molly came back to see us on And Just Like That. And so listen later this week. All right.